So how's everybody doing? So this will be the midweek update, and I'll just give you a little commentary on the layout so far and talk to you about a couple of things. So this is a good chance, apart from the tutorial style, to kind of say a little more things off the cuff, rather than just focused on the subject matter at hand. As you can see, I've been in quite a zone here, like a scenery zone, doing all this foreground work. So I'm sort of in the color mode right now, or a zone if you want to call it. So I'm looking at the water surface here, which is this whole large area, as you know, which I'm sort of in the preliminary stages of color right now to establish, the Fraser River in this particular location, which is a combination, between these colors here. If I can just show you for a second. I'll just talk about color a little bit in part of this update. So, as you know, I won't be using resin. And, resin is fine. If people want to use resin or whatever, pours, solid pours, whatever, then have at her. It's your railroad. So. But I'm going to do it with colors and glazes, and because there's not a lot of, you can't see any depth anyway. So, but the color of the river is best experienced live. So I live close to it. No photo will ever do it justice. I can show you a couple of quick photos, and there's 101 ways to Sunday in terms of what color the Fraser is on any given day, or during a particular time of day, the position of the viewer. Plein air painter usually starts to establish color and paint on location, and then they just use photographs for texture and shape. So that's kind of where I'm at, right? And none of these colors will really determine anything at this point. They'll just possibly be used as preliminary layers or color plates to establish, the final color, which is always subjective, right? It's always subjective. So, and you'll see parts of it. Probably the biggest part of water will be right here and along this edge here, mostly. And the rest will be shadow under the barge slip. You won't see behind there, and then a little bit along the shore there. But so that'll be coming up. Hopefully before the end of this year, because I want to get this shoreline done right here, before I do any water base color or anything, right? And then as far as the warehouses go, these are just like miniature theater flat movie style facades that will be able to pop in and out anyway, and I'm just going to dress them all. But that's model building stage. So I'm not I don't like switching back and forth, like one day here, one day there. I like to do things in phases. And so since I've been in this long scenery run, I'm really into the color mode, right? Okay. So when I switch gears, then I'll be back into model building phase, Okay. So I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all the response too. Thank you to all the subscribers lately that have signed on. Thank you once again for all my base subscribers. And for those of you that are just wondering about subscriptions, well, if you subscribe, I'm not asking you to, I want you to have the freedom to do that on your own decision. There are some advantages, right? You win my respect, for one. No, I don't discern between people that way, but there are original subscribers who I know by name, and they don't say a whole lot, but when they do, they get my respect for more reasons than one. So, because, and it's free to subscribe, right? So, some people have memberships. How would you like that if I started a membership where only members could apply, or forced you into a Patreon, right? So it's free, right? But you're also free to subscribe. So, and if you subscribe, you're obviously supporting the channel, because ultimately it helps it grow. And the larger, the growth factor, then the revenue increases, right? And helps cover my time, because I do this pretty much full time. apart from my day job, which is part-time. So, okay. So the scenery's coming together all along here. I'll be sort of thinking on this because I know a lot of you are really anxious about that, and I know. And then I'm going to be doing this asphalt buried track area here too next. I'm probably going to run it along the seam here. There's a seam right here where the whole module splits. So I got to decide where it's going to go, and on the prototype it runs for a quarter mile, but this isn't even really, this is sort of part of the prototype, very, very close, that I revised in this crossing here to have the option for 3 leads to service the barge slip in case I'm running another locomotive on the outside line there. So it's really an interchange right here, So, and then for those of you that don't know, this corner, this track here branches off on a 3-way. There's some more turnouts I've been building. And there's a shop facade in the corner. Just like I'm going to do, this plywood style. But where all my locomotives can run in and out. And when they come out of the shop, they just come right onto the main here, and they can cross over to the barge slip lead if they want. And then, there's the ability to switch some cars at the warehouse, which, this warehouse here on the prototype is not even active anymore. So, and then the brewery down here, takes some liberties with that. So we'll see how that pans out. So you can't have everything on every footprint. So, and when you model prototypically, what happens is a lot of your space gets gobbled up for the signature scene that you're trying to model prototypically with heavy compression too. Like even though this scene is developed well, I think, it's still heavily compressed. So, so you can't avoid that. Right? You can't avoid compression. The trick is to transition into the next zone so the viewer or the operator thinks, okay, so now I'm in a different area, and so on, right? So each scene is, 8 feet long or whatever, as opposed to squeezing in 3 sort of zones of, influence or whatever within a smaller footprint. So there's sort of a transition right here, right? To the next scene, and then there'll be a shop scene over here, and then another scene over to the right onto the other modules. So yeah, so that's the midweek update for you. Done quite a bit of foreground scenery, like I said, and I'm thinking on the watercolor, the Muddy Fraser, which is a big challenge, but I like challenges, right? That's why we do it. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.